The Lions produced one of their most complete performances of the United Rugby Championship season with a resounding 54-17 victory over Edinburgh in Johannesburg, a result that not only reignited their playoff ambitions but also exposed the growing struggles within the Scottish side. Played at high altitude and at relentless pace, the contest was effectively decided in a devastating first-half display from the hosts, who combined power, tempo, and attacking invention to blow their opponents away. The top line from the opening whistle, the Lions imposed themselves with authority. Their physicality at the breakdown and dynamism in open play immediately placed Edinburgh under pressure, and it did not take long for that dominance to translate into points. Just 6 minutes in, Ruan Venter crossed for the opening try, finishing off a sweeping movement that began with a powerful line break from his lock partner. It set the tone for what would follow: direct, aggressive, and clinical rugby. What came next was a blitz that effectively ended the contest before halftime. Within a 7-minute spell, the Lions ran in 3 further tries through Frank Horne, Darian Landsberg, and Morne van den Berg. Each score highlighted a different facet of their attacking arsenal: close-range power, support play, and sharp decision-making around the fringes. Edinburgh simply could not cope with the speed and intensity. Defensive lines were repeatedly broken, and even when they managed to slow the ball, the Lions found ways to generate quick ruck speed and maintain momentum. By the midpoint of the first half, the result already felt inevitable. There was a brief moment before halftime when Edinburgh threatened to claw their way back into the contest. They built pressure deep in Lions territory, working their way to within 5 meters of the try line and even gaining a numerical advantage following a card. Yet, in a sequence that perfectly encapsulated their evening, the Lions turned defense into attack in an instant. A turnover sparked a rapid counterattack, culminating in a try for Bronson Mills that effectively crushed any hopes of a comeback. The second half saw Edinburgh show some resilience. Early tries from Ewan Ashman and Freddie Douglas suggested a potential fightback, but those efforts were quickly overshadowed by a brace from Angelo Davids, whose pace and finishing ability ensured the Lions remained firmly in control. As the clock ticked into the red, Hashim Peed added the final flourish, pushing the score beyond the half-century mark and underlining the scale of the victory. Ramifications in a competition as tightly contested as the United Rugby Championship, results of this magnitude carry significant consequences. Entering the round, the Lions found themselves outside the top 8 following wins for rivals, and the pressure was firmly on to respond. Not only did they secure victory, but they did so with a bonus point, ensuring maximum return from the fixture. That outcome propelled them back into the playoff positions, climbing to 7th place and regaining a crucial foothold in the race for knockout rugby. The bonus point also allowed them to close the gap on Munster to just a single point, while bringing teams like Cardiff, Leinster, the Stormers, and Ulster into striking distance. With several rounds still to play, the Lions have firmly re-established themselves as genuine contenders for a top 8 finish. For Edinburgh, the implications are far more troubling. This defeat leaves them languishing in 12th place, and with a growing gap to the playoff positions, their chances of reaching the top 8 now appear increasingly remote. Compounding the issue is the congested nature of the lower half of the table, where they are now being drawn into a battle with teams such as the Dragons, Scarlets, and Benetton. Their upcoming fixtures offer little respite. Matches against the Stormers and Leinster present formidable challenges, and while clashes with Zebra and the Sharks may offer opportunities for points, the margin for error has all but disappeared. To reach the playoffs from this position would require not only a dramatic upturn in form but also favorable results elsewhere. A lot to like about the Lions beyond the result itself. What stood out most about the Lions' performance was the manner in which they played. Their approach was not just effective, it was entertaining. There is a freedom and joy in their rugby that is increasingly rare at the professional level, a willingness to take risks and play with ambition that makes them one of the most exciting teams to watch in the competition. Their attacking philosophy is built around continuity and movement. Offloads are a key component, often delivered just before or after contact to keep the ball alive and stretch defensive structures. Yet this is not reckless play. There is a clear tactical framework underpinning their approach, ensuring that creativity is balanced with control. Much of their success stems from the work of the forward pack. Players like Venter, Batho Vlacani, and PJ Botha laid the foundations with powerful carries in tight channels, consistently generating front foot ball. This dominance in the collisions forced Edinburgh onto the back foot, creating the space needed for the backs to exploit. Once that platform was established, the Lions' backline came alive. Morne van den Berg dictated tempo from scrum half, while Angelo Davids and Quan Horn repeatedly found gaps in the defensive line. Their ability to transition quickly from structured play to broken field attack made them incredibly difficult to contain. It is this blend of physicality and flair that makes the Lions such a dangerous side. When they are able to impose their game plan, as they did in this match, they have the capacity to overwhelm even well-organized opponents. Where next for Edinburgh? For Edinburgh, this defeat raises serious questions about their direction and identity. While injuries have undoubtedly played a role in their struggles, the issues run deeper than personnel alone. This is a squad that still contains a number of experienced internationals, yet performances have consistently fallen short of expectations. Since the start of the year, their record has been poor. Victories have been limited to matches against fellow strugglers, and heavy defeats have become increasingly common. Conceding 63 points to Bath, 40 to Ulster, and now 54 to the Lions points to systemic problems in both defence and game management. Defensively, they appear vulnerable to teams that play with pace and width. Their line speed and organization have not been sufficient to contain dynamic attacks, while their inability to slow opposition ball has left them exposed. In attack, they have struggled to build sustained pressure, often relying on individual moments rather than cohesive structure. Addressing these issues will require more than minor adjustments. It will demand a reassessment of their tactical approach, improved execution, and perhaps most importantly, a restoration of confidence within the squad. Without significant improvement, their season risks drifting further into disappointment. Test watch matches like this also serve as a valuable showcase for players with international ambitions, and several individuals will have caught the attention of selectors. For the Lions, the scrum half pairing of Morne van den Berg and Hashim Peed stood out. Their speed of service and attacking instincts were central to the team's performance, and their ability to control tempo while also posing a threat around the fringes will not have gone unnoticed by national coaches. Ruan Venter's performance in the second row was another highlight. Shifted into the position at short notice, he delivered a display that combined physical presence in the tight exchanges with mobility and impact in open play. Such versatility is highly valued at the international level. In the front row, the contest between Asenathine Tlabakani and Ruan Venter provided an intriguing subplot. From an Edinburgh perspective, Magnus Bradbury and Dylan Richardson were among the few players to emerge with credit. Despite being on the losing side, their work rate and commitment remained evident throughout, reflecting a determination that the team as a whole will need to rediscover. Conclusion: this match was, above all else, a statement from the Lions. It showcased their potential, their ambition, and their ability to deliver when it matters. With the playoff race intensifying, performances like this could prove decisive in shaping their season. For Edinburgh, however, it was another difficult chapter in what has become a challenging campaign. The road ahead is steep, and without rapid improvement, their hopes of reaching the knockout stages will continue to fade. In the broader context of the United Rugby Championship, the result serves as a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. Momentum is everything, and while the Lions appear to have found theirs at just the right time, Edinburgh must now search urgently for a way to halt their decline.